Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The City Manager's Office has expressed Mayor Pro Tem Soto's request to participate in today's meeting remotely. Madam Clerk, can you please provide the council with the necessary information?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. Mayor Pro Tem Soto is requesting approval from the council to participate remotely in today's open and closed sessions. Per AB 2449, Mayor Pro Tem Soto is requesting remote participation via emergency circumstances due to a physical or family medical emergency that prevents her from attending in person. If council approves this request, Mayor Pro Tem Soto must participate by video and must disclose those 18 years or older that are present in the room with her. Thank you.
Thank you. I move to allow Mayor Pro Tem Soto to participate in today's meeting remotely. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I need a roll call vote or just voice? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the City Council meeting of February 6, 2024. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez. Here. Councilmember Escobedo.
Here.
Councilmember Cordero.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Soto.
Present.
Mayor Patino.
Here. First item on the agenda is the public comment period. Madam Clerk, I see we have 7 requests to speak. Okay, at this time. Jeremy Goldberg, followed by Leo DeCasas, followed by Nicole Bryant. Good evening.
Thank you, there we go. I knew there was a microphone. Thank you, council members. My name is Jeremy Goldberg. I'm the executive director of the Central Coast Labor Council. We are a coalition of about 75 labor unions representing 70,000 workers who live and work on the Central Coast. And my message is really painfully simple, frankly, which is that if you work in this city, you should be able to afford to live in this city too. And not just while you're working, but well into retirement. The majority of interactions between workers who are living in this city and the city and its services are not amongst the folks in this room. It's firefighters rushing to your home to help you in an emergency. It's Parks and Rec employees. It's the clerk helping you with your utility bills, and all kinds of other employees doing basic fundamental services. And first and foremost, they deserve the basic respect of a wage that allows them to do their job and retire with dignity. So I would strongly urge you all to take a good hard look at the tact and the position the city's taking with its city contracts as negotiations move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Leo DeCasas, Nicole Bryant, followed by Matt Cherkop.
Hello, City Council. I just wanted to take a moment today before your closed session to speak to you about upcoming contract negotiations with your essential workers. Every day, the people of Santa Maria depend on essential and emergency services that the city provides for their basic needs. And I'm here this evening to stand in unity with these workers, from the firefighters to the general unit of the Santa Maria employees. So today I urge our local government representatives in front of us today to do the right thing and bargain in good faith. Our essential workers deserve fair and equitable wages that keep up with inflation and benefits that can support their families. This can only be achieved through a labor agreement between the city and employees. So please do the right thing and agree to a fair contract. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicole Bryant, followed by Matt Cherkop, followed by Stephen Gilman.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, thank you again for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Nicole Bryant, and I'm the field representative for SEIU Local 620, who represents your hardworking general units unit employees here at the City of Santa Maria. We understand that you have not had the opportunity to meet in closed session again since our members spoke directly to you during regular public comment on January 16th. Our membership, again, will be standing up for themselves this evening to impress upon you the importance of these contract negotiations and their need for fair and equitable wages. Your employees are struggling to support their families in this community, not only as your employees, but as your constituents as well. They are losing their coworkers and work families, leaving for better paying jobs at other local agencies, all while vacancies remain and are not being recruited for. Do more with less can only go so far before you deeply impact morale and employee performance, which is our members' current reality. We stand in solidarity with the Santa Maria Firefighters Local 2020. My members would be here to join me this evening in closed session, public comment. However, they are all working still. These are not requests of greed from either of our memberships. They are requests of need. You heard our members' firsthand accounts on the 16th, as you will hear more later tonight. Please, I urge you this evening to authorize fair and equitable wages for our members and your employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt Cherkoff, followed by Stephen Gilman, followed by Jeremy Mace.
Good evening, Mayor Patino, City Council, City staff. As you know, I'm Matthew Cherkoff, President of the Santa Maria Firefighters Association. I'm here before you tonight to again speak to the lack of action regarding the ongoing negotiations process. On December 19th, you were provided with our last offer and have not responded. We are asking that you vote on our proposal and report the results of that vote to us. As a reminder, 128 days ago, we began negotiations and have had only 2 formal meetings. We are now 37 days out of contract. We are here in solidarity with our colleagues from SEIU demanding fair market-based contract. Now I could stand here and rattle off all the numbers about how well the city has been doing financially, but it doesn't seem to matter. In fact, the city never disputes the numbers, but honestly, they can't. It's your numbers. Measure U is up $10 million in 4 years. The LEAF continues to grow. The general capital projects account and pension reserve fund are topped off annually with excess funds from the general fund. The prudent reserve fund has never been touched in almost 25 years, and most importantly, general fund revenues always exceed expenditures by hefty margins. As we heard at the last city council meeting, the 218 funded and vacant positions citywide saved the city an estimated $18 million a year. That excess workload is shouldered by all of us. We continue to share with you how busy and overworked your firefighters are, responding to over 12,300 emergencies a year with only 53 firefighters. But that falls on deaf ears. Unfortunately, we're too familiar with being overworked. We communicate that we have lost 40% of all new hires over the last 12 years, and the negative effect it has on maintaining and enhancing services in accordance with Measure U. But that doesn't seem to matter either. I've worked for the fire department for 12 years, and I really enjoy being a firefighter. Furthermore, I'm honored to represent the hardworking firefighters of this department because I see firsthand the camaraderie and hard work ethic, which is second to none. That's why it's always heartbreaking to learn when we have experienced firefighters, engineers, and captains applying at other agencies. Please do the right thing and demand city staff come up with a plan to get us to where we need to be to remain competitive in market. All we're asking for is a fair and market-based contract. Look around the room. These are your talented employees asking for a fair shake. We are here because we truly care, and I mean that. So thank you.
Thank you. Stephen Gilman, followed by Jeremy Mace, followed by Shay Ridley.
Madam Mayor, Council, my name is Stephen Gilman. I'm the IFF 10th District Vice President. I represent over 53,000 firefighters in the states of Hawaii, California, Arizona, New Mexico, and the Mariana Islands. And I'm here today to talk about your firefighters. And I use the word your firefighters because they are part of this community. As I stand before you as a concerned labor leader, but also somebody deeply inspired by the former labor leader, Cesar Chavez, who once said, "The fight is never about grapes or lettuce, it's always about the people." In the same spirit, our fight tonight is not about just fair wages and benefits. It's about acknowledging the invaluable service that your firefighters provide on a daily basis, often at great risk to their own lives. Your firefighters put their lives on the line every day to protect homes in your city, families, and community. Recognizing their heroic sacrifices by providing fair compensation is not just a matter of financial remuneration. It's a demonstration of our collective gratitude to their selfless service. As elected officials, you must help maintain a high standard of fire service in your city. A competitive compensation is essential to recruiting skilled professionals and keeping experienced firefighters within your community. Firefighters who stay in a department become invested in their community because it becomes part of their home. To provide the highest quality of service in the most efficient, cost-effective, and courteous manner. That is your city motto. Yet you're failing in your own city statement. Firefighters come here, they train here, and they move on. In business terms, we would say that your return on investment in your people is terrible. Over 40% of your firefighters have moved on, and in the fire service, this is unheard of. Competitive wages contribute directly to the overall well-being of your firefighters, ensuring they can support their families and enjoy a decent quality of life. It's not just a moral obligation of your leadership, but also an investment in continued strength in the The employees of the city are our most valuable resource. These aren't just words. It's time for you to step up and show your employees that they truly are your most valuable resource. When we talk about fiscal, we are committed to a financially responsible local government, one that is cost conscientious and concerned about the effective and efficient delivery of services to the public. Losing 40% of your workforce, the firefighters, is neither efficient or effective. You cannot maintain a well-trained and competent workforce unless you're willing to invest in them. They're willing to invest in their community, but it has to be reciprocated. You can definitely not stay in touch with the community if you're a stepping stone for other departments. So it seems ironic to me that you've chosen to make your city manager position one of the highest paid positions in the area, yet your firefighters are well below that list of making a fair and competitive wage. What I ask of you is only one thing. Go back to the table, listen to your firefighters, and give them a fair, competitive wage so that this stepping stone mentality of the department doesn't continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gilman. Mr. Jeremy Mace, followed by Shay Wadler.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Jeremy Mace, and I stand before you as a proud firefighter representing Local 2020. Today, I am here to explain the importance of our proposal supported by the following vital numbers: 2, 40, 14, and 3. The number 2 holds significant relevance when considering the challenges faced by your firefighters. Firstly, it signifies that we are the second busiest department among our neighboring agencies, responding to approximately 12,300 calls annually. Our firefighters are on the front lines working tirelessly to protect and serve our community. We are the ones who rush into burning buildings. We are the ones who provide life-saving, critical care during medical emergencies. Yet despite being the second busiest, we are also the second lowest paid within our salary survey. This disparity is disheartening and unjust. Our dedicated firefighters deserve fair compensation for their exceptional service and commitment. 40 highlights another pressing issue. First, in 2022, the rate of inflation hit a 40-year high, 9.1%. However, during that year, our salary increase was a mere 3%. This means that our wages do not keep pace with the rising costs of inflation. And as I'm sure you're aware, our wages continue to fall behind the rising cost of living, not to mention additional reductions that are set forth by CalPERS and healthcare. It is critical to understand that our fair compensation is not just about numbers, it's about providing for our families and maintaining a decent standard of living. By neglecting to address this significant disparity, we are losing talented firefighters who are seeking better wages and compensation elsewhere. Again, the number 40. In the last 12 years, the city has lost 40% of its firefighting force to outside agencies that provide better wages and compensation. 40 again represents the impressive performance of Measure U, a tax measure that dedicates 90% of its revenue to maintain and enhance public safety over the last 4 years. Measure U has consistently outperformed expected revenue estimates by 40%. We urge you, the Santa Maria City Council, to allocate a fair proportion of these funds to ensure firefighters receive the respect and compensation they deserve. 14. The number 14 highlights a concerning statistic. Santa Maria firefighters are currently 14% behind market average in terms of salary. This wage gap not only affects the morale and well-being of our firefighters, but also hinders our ability to attract and retain best talent. Mayor Patino and former city manager have publicly commented numerous times that public safety is the city and council's #1 priority. It is worth noting that a police sergeant earns 21.9% more than a fire captain. This discrepancy raises questions about equality and fairness within our city's compensation structure. And lastly, number 3. 3 represents the power of collaboration and the opportunity for change. It symbolizes the 3 council members who can join together to effect positive change and show the community they respect and value their firefighters. By working together, we can address these disparities, bridge the gap, and ensure that our firefighters receive the fair compensation they deserve. In conclusion, I again ask and request your support of this important proposal before you today. I hope we can work together to effect change and demonstrate your respect and value for our dedicated firefighters.
Thank you. Mr. Weidler? Is Shay here?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City staff. My name is Shay Weidler, and I've been a firefighter with the City of Santa Maria for 2 years. I'm here tonight to share with you my story and to stand in solidarity with the Firefighters Association and SCIU as we continue to ask for fair and reasonable wages to keep up with inflation in our local market. I was born here in Santa Maria at Marion. I graduated from Arroyo Grande High School, and I completed my associate's degree in Santa Maria Allen Hancock so that I could pursue the career of a firefighter. The Central Coast is my home, and I'm honored to be able to serve the community. But my wages and our current economy, I began to question the reality of living here. On October 30th of last year, I had to move out of my home due to unforeseen circumstances. Without another housing option, I packed up my home, moved everything I own into a storage unit, and have been living in my van ever since. Keep in mind, this isn't a camper van with a shower and a kitchen and a bed. I'm currently living in a cargo delivery van with no windows and a couch for a bed. It's a less than desirable situation, and I'm trying to make the best of it while looking for a new home. With today's housing market and my current salary, purchasing a home is unfortunately out of the equation for me. As you know, rental prices aren't any better. The search has been extremely challenging. Not only to find something that I can afford, but a home and a neighborhood that I feel safe in. Although my living situation is unique, the difficulties of affording life's necessities like a roof over our heads, food on the table, and fuel for our vehicles to get to and from work is shared among us all. I hope to see a change in the economy and in the housing market, but until then, I hope that the Firefighters Association and the City of Santa Maria can come to an agreement to give us the fair and reasonable wages that we ask for. You've heard the numbers, and you know the statistics, and you know what it takes to make us feel whole. I will admit, it does feel uncomfortable standing up here in front of you asking for something. In our profession, we rarely ask for help. We do a lot with very little, but we will always be the first to drop whatever we have going on to help out in our community and to help out our own. When firefighters across San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara, and Ventura counties are making more, it's time for us to stand together and make a difference for our coworkers and for our families. I don't see myself ever leaving Santa Maria Fire Department. But with everything I've stated this evening, leaving for better pay and cheaper cost of living, it may be my only solution. I thank you for your time, and I'm hopeful for change.
Thank you. That concludes public comment. The city council will now recess to a closed session and will reconvene to the regular meeting portion of the agenda at 5:30. And Mr. Cordero, if you could sing one of his songs, I'd have you sing it. But that's all right. Before I call this meeting to order, I would like to acknowledge that City Council has approved Mayor Pro Tem Soto participating remotely per AB 2449 for this meeting. I would like to note that the interpreter for this evening is Ms. Zarate. Ms. Zarate, would you mind? She did raise her hand, she stood up. If you need a listening device for interpretation services, you can contact her. Antes de llamar a la Junta a orden, me gustaría notar que contamos con servicios de interpretación para esta Junta. La intérprete esta tarde es la señora Zarate. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the City Council meeting of February 6, 2024. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez. Here. Councilmember Escobedo.
Here.
Councilmember Cordero.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Soto.
Here.
Mayor Patino.
Here. City Council, Mr. Watson. City Attorney, Mr. Watson, could you please give the closed session report?
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the public, a closed session was held with respect to conference with labor negotiators pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957.6. Instructions were provided to the city labor negotiators. No further report can be given at this time.
Thank you. First item on the agenda this evening is a proclamation, and Councilmember Cordero will be making the presentation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before I read this proclamation, it's for the 2-in-1, to celebrate 2-in-1, and I think it's really important that people understand what 2-in-1 is, and that it's an informational system. It's not as well known as the 911 that we all, you see it on television and movies and whatnot, that when an emergency happens, call 911. Well, 2-in-1 is just a little bit below that. And I'm a member of on the board for Communify, and they administer that locally in the Santa Barbara County. So listen to the statistics and understand that there are people that need this service, and we're here to recognize that tonight with Communify. Whereas the 211 helpline is an information and referral system connecting people to free and low-cost health and human services and up-to-date incident and emergency-related information through call, text, and website. Whereas the 211 Information and Referral Program was first enacted by the Federal Communications Commission in 2000 and now covers 85% of all households nationwide. 96% of the population in the state of California has access to 211. And whereas 211 Santa Barbara County was first implemented in 2005 and is a free and confidential service available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in 150 languages to every resident countywide. And whereas in November of 2014, almost 10 years ago, 211 became the program of Communify in Santa Barbara County, a nonprofit that empowers people and transforms lives through its 16 programs that serve the community. And whereas in 2022, 211 had more than 66,123 website visits, including 31,892 new users to the 211SantaBarbaraCounty.org system, the website. With 12,000 of those visits regarding COVID-19 assistance, approximately 3,000 resources were provided to residents throughout the county by a live call specialist. And whereas in 2022, most urgent residences needed included calls about housing, financial assistance, pandemic information, mental health, and food insecurity. And whereas Communify's energy services will be hosting a free 211 Community Day celebration on Saturday, February the 10th, from 11 to 3 p.m. at the Minami Center in Santa Maria, with over 50 nonprofit agencies, free health screening and vaccines for children, activities in food and entertainment, and more. Now, therefore, Alice Patino, Mayor for the City of Santa Maria, hereby proclaims the month of February 10th, 2024 as 211 Day in Santa Maria. Witness hereof, Alice Patino has set her hand and has caused the seal of the great city of Santa Maria to be affixed hereto this 6th day of February 2024, signed by Alice Patino. And here to receive this is Pat Keenan, the CEO.
Good evening, Mayor Patino and City Council members. My name is Pat Keelan. I'm CEO for Communify. Since 2014, Communify has proudly operated 211 Helpline, a free comprehensive information and referral system available to any Santa Barbara County resident 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Residents can request assistance in over 150 languages by calling, texting, or accessing the website online. I wanted to thank the City of Santa Maria for recognizing 211 services to Santa Maria residents. 211 Helpline plays a crucial role in connecting Santa Maria residents with vital resources and services, particularly during times of crisis. It serves as a lifeline for individuals and families facing various challenges, from basic needs like food and shelter to mental health support and disaster assistance. The helpline's easy-to-remember numbers provide a quick and reliable way for people to access the help that they need. And Santa Maria residents are utilizing 211 as a lifeline to resources in the community. In fact, in 2023, Santa Maria residents comprised 36% of all callers countywide seeking information and referrals. That's the largest percentage in any municipality. And that year alone, 211 provided over 3,100 referrals, and the majority of the callers were between the ages of 30 and 54 years of age. The top 3 caller needs were housing, utility payment assistance, and transportation. In short, these resources help struggling individuals and families keep a roof over their head, pay their utility bills, and get to work, medical appointments, and school. Here are a few reasons why we believe 211 Helpline is indispensable. It provides centralized access to resources. We provide support for vulnerable populations, and many of these vulnerable populations, such as the elderly and economically disadvantaged, rely on 211 to connect them to essential services that help them to become more stable and enhance their well-being. And finally, mental health services. In the wake of the ongoing mental health crisis, 211 is a reliable resource for individuals seeking emotional support, counseling, and information about mental health services available in our community. We're even able to provide warm handoffs to local and national suicide and crisis lifelines. One Santa Maria resident, her name is Maria Elena, stated that last year when my dad came out of the hospital, I needed more help. I contacted 211 and was surprised at the number of resources that we can receive that sometimes we do not know about. I was very pleased to have called 211 so my parents could receive the support they needed from many, many different programs. As our residents continue to face various challenges, 211 is an investment in the well-being and resilience of our community. We are extremely grateful to the City of Santa Maria for recognizing these contributions. And we're looking forward to seeing all of you at this weekend's upcoming 211 Community Day celebration on Saturday, February 10th at Menominee Community Center. And if you have any questions or need additional information regarding that event, please call 211. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, we have another proclamation, and Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez will be making the presentation.
Whereas when Dr. Carter G. Woodson established Negro History Week in 1926, he lobbied extensively to establish Black history as a national institution and to encourage the study of African American history. And whereas the Black family offers a rich tapestry of images for exploring the African American past and present and knows no single location, since family reunions and genetic ancestry searches attest to the dispersal of family members across states, nations, and continents. And whereas historically and today in the 21st century, Black people have worked the political angle to seek their rightful space in the country in all 3 of the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, and the Fair Housing Act were concessions to the civil rights and Black power movements. And whereas societal and political forces escalate to limit access to and exercise of the ballot, eliminate the teaching of Black history, and work to push society back into the 1890s, the theme for 2024 is African Americans and the Arts, which explores the key influence African Americans have had in the fields of visual and performing arts, literature, fashion, folklore, language, film, music, architecture, culinary, and other forms of cultural expression. And whereas Black History Month reflects on the struggles of Black families, at the same time being a time to rejoice and celebrate their accomplishments, integrity, leadership, and determination, as well as to honor the history and progress that has been made in creating new opportunities for future generations. Now, therefore, Alice M. Patino, the mayor of the city of Santa Maria, hereby recognizes February 2024 as National Black History Month in the city of Santa Maria, and encourages all residents and businesses to acknowledge and celebrate with appropriate ceremonies and activities. In witness hereof, she hereunto sets her hand, have caused the seal of the city of Santa Maria to be affixed hereto this 6th day of February 2024. And the person to accept this is going to be LaWanda Lyons Pruitt of the Santa Maria Lompoc NAACP.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. Got to acknowledge our chief over there. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. And to our community. Wow, what a turnout. Standing room only, and that's what I like to see, because then you are participating in democracy. So I want to thank you all for this resolution and know that we appreciate it from the heart. We really appreciate it. It is important to me, and it is important to our community. And you may ask, what's all the fuss? Black History Month. Well, I'm a living witness, a child out of the 60s and the 70s who grew up in rural Mississippi. I grew up at a time of segregation in housing and schooling and even the doctor's office. I went one time to the doctor's office, and I'll never forget, we went through the back door and there was a sign that said colored. In my school textbooks, there was no mention of blacks and African Americans and their accomplishment except for serfs and George Washington Carver. There was no mention of slavery, lynching of black men, Emmett Till, bombing of churches, the Holocaust, and people who looked like me. And it wasn't until I came to Santa Maria, California, that I learned all about my history. I have one daughter, and I have made it a point that she knows her history. Almost 50 years later, I still remember my first year of high school integration in 1970, when the book with the N-word was read in my 9th grade class. Being the only black in the class, while the reader and the teacher's faces were red from laughter, I still remember it, and I remember their names to this day. In February, we celebrate because it's not about recognizing and taking a look at the harm that slavery, racism, and oppression of black people cause, but this is our history, my history. And as my friend Wendy says, Black history is American history, 365 days of the year. And when we celebrate, we honor and remember the past, celebrate the present, and inspire the future. One last thing, the national themes are set by the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, which is Dr. Carter G. Woodson. It is the organization that he found. Ironically enough, I knew nothing about organized labor and what was going on here in our city, but I chose our theme to be labor, organized labor's role in fighting both socioeconomic and social injustice, because it's been important to our community and it's important to me. And I hope that we all sit at the table of brotherhood. I see all the purple shirts, and I hope that we all sit down at the table of brotherhood and that we give them a decent wage that they can live on. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your history, LaWanda. That is very much appreciated, sharing that with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, before you move on, just a little quick announcement.
Yes, Mr. Posada?
So apparently earlier in the 4:30 session, we had technical difficulties with our television signal, so it was not out in public. However, it was recorded, and those difficulties have been repaired, and this session is now being broadcast live.
Thank you, Mr. Posada. Next item on the agenda this evening is a presentation of the Winter Hometown Heroes, and I will be presenting the certificates along with Interim Director of Recreation and Parks, Ms. Oslin. Are there any hometown heroes out in the hallway? Can someone check for me, please? Are they all inside the chambers?
I believe they're all inside the chambers, Mayor.
They're all in chambers? Okay. So do I go over here?
Eventually, yeah. We have a short presentation, and we'll just really quickly run through some content, and then we will provide our certificates to our hometown heroes. So I want to thank you all we're excited to honor our hometown heroes here tonight. Thank you, everyone, for being able to be available. The Santa Maria Hometown Heroes program was created in 2016 to honor Santa Maria residents who serve or have served in the military. In 2020, the program was updated to include local heroes who are frontline workers. Dennis Smitherman is with me, who is helping with our presentation here. There we go. The Santa Maria Hometown Heroes Military Banner Program was created with collaborative partners, Santa Maria American Legion Post 56, the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 2521, and the City of Santa Maria Recreation and Parks Department. Honorees can be active duty, retired, honorably discharged, and those who have their life in action, who have lost their life in action in one of the branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, first responders, and essential workers. And tonight, we honor 13 of Santa Maria's hometown heroes. Since the inception of the program, over 200 hometown heroes have been recognized and honored. In recognition of their service, the following hometown heroes will be presented a certificate of appreciation and have a commemorative banner displayed on College Drive for the next 6 months. I know some of those have blown down in the storm, and we're working quickly to get some of them replaced. Any that are damaged, we will have replaced as well. Madam Mayor, if you would mind helping us. And so we'll announce our heroes. Richard Arnold Amundsen. Nominated by Sister Judy Brannon, and I believe there may be somebody here to help accept. There we go. Hank Antolini, nominated by his son, Paul Antolini. Jay Connor, nominated by son Jordan Connor. David Cook, nominated by wife Becky Cook. Leonard Gonzalez, nominated by nephew George Gonzalez. Jack Lara, nominated by daughter Julie Lara. Nicholas Lara, nominated by son Michael Lara. Tony Lara, nominated by wife Virginia Lara. Dr. Robert Okerblom. Nominated by Becky Cook and his staff. Michael Pagling, nominated by his friend Mike Rosas. I don't believe he's able to attend this evening. Santos Rosas, nominated by his brother Mike Rosas. Also unable to attend this evening. Blas Torres. Nominated by his daughter, Susan Hernandez. Robert Villa, nominated by his coworker Justin Bronson. And our heroes this evening represent the Army, Navy, Air Force, Healthcare, Marine Corps, and Education.
And
Santa
thank you.
Maria-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
The Santa Maria Hometown Heroes is now accepting appointments for the coming 2024 summer class. More information is available at our city website at www.cityofsantamaria.org/HTH or by calling our Recreation and Parks Department. And if we can just thank our hometown heroes again.
I just want to thank all of the men and women who have served our country. I can remember back to the Second World War when all the men were gone. And they were all gone to war. And we lived at my grandmother's house at 310 East Cypress. And my mom and my sister and I shared a room. I had another aunt that was a sister-in-law to my mother, and another aunt that was another sister-in-law to my mother because her husbands were overseas. Everyone was gone. And I wonder now how all of us lived. There was more than just the four of us. There was, I don't know how many, lived in a one bathroom, 4-bedroom house. But we did it. Anyway, and we had our victory gardens too. So, but thank you to all the men and women in our community and all through the world that have served our country. It's so important. Thank you. Just take a couple of minutes till they get out. Okay. Okay. The next item is a Code Enforcement Annual Report presentation is to be given by Code Enforcement Manager Don Palacios and Code Enforcement Supervisor Yvette Fuentes. I saw you standing up there, and I thought, I don't recognize you because you've got your hair down. Anyway, I thought maybe you thought it was public comment already. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Don Palacios. I'm Code Enforcement Manager, and this is Yvette Fuentes, Code Enforcement Supervisor. We are proud to provide the Code Enforcement Division update for you all this evening. Oops. Let's see. There we go. In 2022, the Code Enforcement Division relocated from the City Attorney's Office to the Community Development Department located at 110 South Pine Street, Suites 106 and 107. Currently, the division consists of 1 Code Enforcement Manager, 1 Code Enforcement Supervisor, 1 Code Enforcement Technician, and 4 Code Enforcement officers, excuse me. The code enforcement process, to quickly summarize, could be lengthy. Once a service request form is received, a code enforcement officer is assigned to that case. The investigation process then begins, and a notice of violation may be issued. It's addressed to all responsible parties. If compliance is not gained, I'm sorry. There we go. If compliance is not gained, citations may be issued, or a compliance order, or a criminal citation. With hearings, it will go through the process of through the compliance order if compliance is not achieved, or people may appeal the citations that they're issued. After that, the case is closed after compliance is gained. However, citations will remain open until they're paid. If a complaint is received for the same violation within a year, citations may be issued. This is the year in review and continued developments.
Excuse me 1 minute. Mr. Escobedo has a question.
Sorry for interruption. Can we go back one slide?
Sure.
So in the citation part, it says that citations are issued if compliance is not achieved. So first it would say, is there an order for this? Is first administrative citation, and if that doesn't work, then it's a compliance order, and then it's if that doesn't work, then it goes to a criminal?
It depends on the case and the severity of the violation. If it's a serious health and safety violation, it may go to criminal citation. It may go to a compliance order also if it's a business and they need to make some corrections. So it really depends on the case. Otherwise, it will mainly start with administrative citations, which begin at 175 and go to 500 and then 1,000.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, could you close the door in the back, please? And any of you gentlemen like to sit up front, there's plenty of room. Thank you.
Why is this not? Sorry. There we go. So this is the year in review and continued developments. This data was collected from December 1, 2022 to December 1, 2023. There were 1,526 cases opened and 1,442 cases closed. And interdepartmental cases received were 493. Projected enforcement is going to be with the mandatory organic waste disposal reduction program. That's along with the utilities department. We are working hand in hand with them to provide education to the business community And we're also scheduling some town hall meetings, the first to be scheduled on March 18th, to provide that education to the community and business. And also, we have electronic service request submissions continue to be very successful. People used to have to come to our office and fill out a form or mail them. So now they are able to go on the city's website, fill out the information, hit submit, and it comes directly to us. It's a lot easier for them. And we have ongoing improvements with the electronic computer software to help streamline the code case paperwork and efficiency, to be able to take photos on our iPads out in the community and be able to just upload them straight to the case, and also make notes on the cases to save some time. And also, we facilitate the City of Santa Maria Task Force meetings, consisting of numerous city departments. That's a brainstorming get-together to discuss trends that we're seeing around the town that are problematic, issues with graffiti, and ways that we can all work together to solve those issues. This is our favorite part of the job, which is community outreach efforts. So code enforcement understands the value in providing community education. We reintroduced the Walk and Talk program, communication with community members in residential and commercial areas. It was on a bit of a hiatus due to COVID and staffing shortages, but we're working to up our staffing, and so we're getting out there more and doing it more consistently every quarter. And we've also partnered with Allen Hancock College, Chamber of Commerce, and the Santa Barbara County Health Department to provide information to program participants. That is for the business community, to help them. For example, if a business is looking at a specific property in the community, we gave them information to seek planning's information on the zoning to make sure they're in an area that is zoned for the business that they're looking to open, or tips to look for unpermitted construction when they're doing their walkthrough for through the building, so things of that nature. And we also attended the Allen Hancock College Career Day along with the HR department to provide education and spread the word about different opportunities with the City of Santa Maria to the college students. And we've also done the downtown Friday events, educational programs, and virtual presentations for nonprofit agencies, National Night Out, and some radio interviews with Sunny Country and 95.7. That was pretty fun. And increased neighborhood projects to address blight in the community, and assisted our local businesses regarding complaints for trespassing on private property. In an effort to enhance community outreach efforts, the Code Enforcement Division introduced an informational series titled Did You Know? The series may be viewed on YouTube under the Santa Maria Code Enforcement and Santa Maria Today. The first segment describes the role of code enforcement in the community, and the second segment provides information regarding sidewalk vending and catering vehicles. Our third is going to be discussing unpermitted construction and educational points focusing on health and safety, along with helpful tips for businesses are to follow. Yvette is going to share some information on increased trends that we're seeing around the community.
Thank you. So some increased trends that our Code Enforcement Division office has seen this past year. We're going to touch on those, and you can see on the screen they have to do with health and safety, prohibited discharges, and graffiti. We'll get into those next. So we have seen an increase in home-based food sales. As you can see on the screen, we've had cases involving dried meat sales, and we've had kitchen operations being run out of rear yards. And those are extreme safety concerns that our office takes very seriously. And through these cases, we actually built a partnership with the USDA, and we received training on what to do in those events when we do come across these type of cases and concerns. So we have contacts with the USDA that we've been working with, contacts with the Santa Barbara County Public Health Department, and we work closely with them whenever we do receive these kind of complaints. We also provide education to the individuals that are operating these types of businesses as well. Something else that we have seen around the city is an increase in pop-up food sales and events. So code enforcement, along with multiple departments to include the fire department and the Santa Maria Police Department, we acted very swiftly and quickly to address these concerns. We made contact with the business owner. They were from out of town, and we assisted them through the process of getting a health permit along with a city business license. They are in the process of doing that currently. And we just really want to say thank you again to the fire department and police department for providing us assistance in making contact and allowing us to go out and work together to be able to handle these situations when they arise. Something else that we've noticed is an increase in prohibited discharges. The photo to your left was a clean out at an apartment complex that completely overflowed into the parking lot of the complex. And the clean out was directly next to someone's front door. So we addressed that rather quickly. Along with the photo to your right, you'll see a discharge of construction material that was left in the public street and left a trail in our public street. So these are the kind of discharge cases that we have seen an uptick in, but we have been able to address swiftly. So some more continuous enforcement efforts are the blighted properties. We've been seeing a lot of personal property in public view, excessive accumulations, excessive graffiti, abandoned properties, which we do work with to ensure that we gain compliance as quickly as possible. We'd also like to thank the Recreation and Parks Department for their assistance. We have been working very closely with them to address the graffiti to make sure that it gets taken care of in a timely manner. Mobile commercial washing. This is definitely a concern that our office receives a lot of, and we have been working proactively, and we have been conducting numerous details each week to make sure that we're addressing the mobile commercial car washing. If you don't know, mobile commercial washing is not prohibited in the public streets. It's completely banned. You do have to have a mobile commercial car wash permit, which is free through our office. And with that permit, it outlines the requirements and the guidelines for mobile commercial washing, and it gives very specific information on how and where they should be operating. It also includes the need to contain the wastewater and to dispose of it properly. And with that, they also required a business license. Some other items that we have seen and concerns throughout the city pertain to health and safety and substandard housing. To the left, you'll see there were quite a few individuals that were dwelling in the garage, and that is a very scary health and safety concern. And for a number of reasons, then to the right, you'll see excessive mold in the shower, and we also work very swiftly to make sure that the property owners are addressing these violations to make sure that the housing is safe and clean for the people living in it. Here's some unpermitted construction, and to the left you'll see an unpermitted shed. It's in the rear yard. It did include plumbing and electrical. The center photo was the restroom for that shed in the rear yard, and the very photo to the right, that was the room. And this is unfortunately something that we do see and that we are addressing again to make sure that the individuals that are living in this type of environment are given the education and also the tools to know what is considered healthy and safe housing. sidewalk vendors. We have seen an uptick in sidewalk vendors to include flower and fruit. And again, action that our code enforcement team has been doing is responding to those on not just a complaint-driven basis, but on a proactive basis as well.
"2024 goals. We're going to continue our vendor details to include nights and weekends. We can't do it without fire and the police department, so we really appreciate them assisting us on these details. And so we're also working with outside agencies such as the USDA and the Santa Barbara Health Department. We're also working to enhance our existing programs, increasing community awareness and code enforcement presence within the community, maintaining regular neighborhood walk and talk efforts, increasing our business walk and talk efforts. They're being heavily impacted by graffiti and different things happening around the city with the unhoused also. So we are supporting them and giving them some suggestions. And we are also implementing routine neighborhood projects to address blighted areas and schedule regular graffiti details alongside with the Rec and Parks Department. And a special thank you to all the city departments for another successful year of collaboration. It takes a team to work together. We all have our different specialties, and so when we can come together and work out the citywide issues together, it makes it a lot easier.
I'd also like to say a quick thank you to Interim Director Angela Osland for allowing us to use this beautiful slide that her and her team came up with. So thank you very much. It's a beautiful format. We appreciate it.
And code enforcement would like to extend our appreciation to the City Council for their ongoing support. We really appreciate it. We believe in public health, safety, and beautifying our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Don't leave the podium. We've
Can I
got
have, I have a
questions.
question?
Yes.
The slide where Councilmember Escobedo talked about the process, the notice of violation, can you go back to that? I think it was the second or third slide of the presentation.
Absolutely.
So when someone calls in a report, do you send a notice of violation to that property owner?
So the way the notice of violations work, it depends on the case. For example, if it's unpermitted construction and we don't see any permits on file, we will send it to all responsible parties saying reports of unpermitted construction in the rear yard or garage conversion. And so that's requiring an inspection. So once the inspection is done, that's when a violation is determined, and so an addendum will be sent out. So whether it's a notice of violation regarding the construction with deadlines and details for it, or also a case summary report will be sent out stating that there was no violation found and the inspection details.
So you determine that there is a violation before you go and do the inspection?
Sometimes we can. So, but if we can't determine if there's a violation, for example, if we're driving by a house, we don't know if there's unpermitted construction in the garage or the rear yard, and we require an inspection, that's when a notice is sent if we can't see it from street view, and requiring inspection due to the complaint that our office has received. And so it will say reports of unpermitted construction or whatever the report that we received may be. And so we'll have to do an inspection to determine if there is in fact a violation.
So would it be possible to change those notice of violations to a notice of required inspection because you don't know if they're in violation yet?
It's possible. We would just have to have it vetted through the process of changing or adding another notice.
Okay.
Any other questions? Let me ask you something. Does the public health actually show up
Yes,
when you
they
call
do.
them? All the time? Because okay. So on the micro kitchens, because I went and testified at the Board of Supervisors that we didn't want to allow those in Santa Maria, but it was a 3-2. Are you seeing a lot of those?
We are seeing a lot of those. We receive some of the complaints, but they're referred to the health department.
Okay. On the mobile car wash, I noticed you said you get assistance from the PD, and the reason for that is?
For safety. There are quite a few people out there that are quite aggressive, and so they do assist us. And also, some refuse to give their IDs, so they will assist us with that also.
Okay, so you have out-of-town businesses. Well, I see the flowers, I see the oranges right now. What else do we have out-of-town businesses? Because a lot of these are coming from the valley.
Some are the phones. It's a lot of the oranges that we're seeing now, and the flower vendors. And yeah, and the fruit vendors, the ones with the cut up fruit in the cups, and the corn.
Oh, okay. Because I did see a guy selling windshield wipers the other day, which was very appropriate.
That's new. We haven't seen that yet.
Oh. You know I call you when I see anything.
I know you do.
Thank you very much.
Mayor
Thank
Pro
you so
Tem
much.
Soto has,
Oh, yes, Mr. Escobedo has a question.
No, from Ms. Soto.
yes, she has her hand raised on Zoom.
Oh, okay. Ms. Soto had a question.
Thank you for the report. On the agenda, I think that there's mention of assistance or assisting enforcement of illegal fireworks. I think that was something that was accomplished this past year. Is that something that code enforcement is going to be supporting with again for this upcoming 4th of July? And if so, like, what are some measures that code enforcement takes to support with the enforcement of illegal fireworks?
Sure. Yeah, last year was really successful. We went out with a couple of the beat coordinators and went out in the community and observed illegal fireworks and wrote citations. We also assist the police department and fire department regarding their citations. So we may help them issue them, or if a hearing is required, if someone is appealing the citation, then we also facilitate those.
Got it. And my other question, thank you for that. My other question is pertaining to unsafe housing. I know that you showed some of those slides, and so and that you mentioned that you give or provide information to the tenants, but I'm curious, like, when it is a really unsafe living situation, what support do we give the tenants in terms of helping them find another place to live until their home is up to code? I know that really falls on the landlord, but I'm curious as to how code enforcement ensures that happens.
What we do is we do issue the notices of violations, but the tenants are the property owner's responsibility. We don't get involved in that, but we do provide them legal aids information, and we let them know what their basic rights are. And a lot of times they'll ask us for their notices so we can forward them to whatever address that they are currently residing in. And also we do get public record requests through legal aid to provide that information to assist with those cases.
Glad to hear the partnership with Legal Aid.
And congratulations on your baby.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much for the
Thank
presentation.
you.
Very much appreciated. Next item on the agenda this evening is the public comment period. This time is reserved to accept public comment on items not on the consent
or from the consent agenda or closed session items or matters not printed on the agenda this evening unless otherwise directed. Speakers will have 3 minutes to comment. So we have 11. Is 3 minutes okay, or do you want to? Mr. Cordero? Ms. Aguilera? We've got 11 speakers. Did you want to turn it down to 2? Do you want to keep it at 3?
I just, if you get a lot of objection there, we've got 11 speakers, that's, yeah, a lot.
Okay, well, if anyone turned this in and only wants to take 1 minute, I'll let you come to the front of the line.
Yeah.
Oh, no takers. Okay. I will start. There'll be 3 minutes. And please try to stay on the 3 minutes. Thank you. Yolanda Rodriguez, followed by Gary Hall, followed by Esther Jensen, followed by Steve Baird.
Madam Mayor, City Council, and City staff, my name is Yolanda Rose Rodriguez, and I am Secretary for the Santa Maria Valley Pioneer Association. I'm here to talk about Pioneer Park. The Pioneer Picnic is a long-standing tradition in the Santa Maria Valley. It is important because it continues the tradition of local families who got together to soon to be 100 years ago, then along Alamo Creek, just beyond the bridge along 166 and above the Porter Ranch. Pioneers like Tunnel, Oakley, Adam, Smith, Rice, and many more were in attendance. These old-timers included all who had come to the valley up to and including 1890. The city and the airport district have a long-standing lease that continues to be extended. But the fact is that the contract, the lease in of itself, creates uncertainty and concern as to the city's long-term position with respect to the property. It is understood that the airport district and the city have negotiated for the city's purchase of the property, but the properties have been unable to come to terms for the sale. Today's request is for the City Council to provide direction to city staff to explore all possibilities for purchase, which may include pursuing appropriate funding sources, including grant opportunities. The City Council's desire to finally secure this landmark property will unequivocally demonstrate a continued respect for Santa Maria's heritage and a desire to safeguard and preserve the park that means so much to all members of the community. The Santa Maria Valley Pioneer Association would also like to be included regarding any future changes or additions to the park built by our forefathers and present members. I'd like to invite the distinguished mayor, city council, city staff, and their family members and friends to join us at our 100th anniversary on July 13 to experience the history, camaraderie, and fellowship that brings over 700 of Santa Maria residents and families together each year. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Gary Hall, followed by Esther Jensen.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, staff, and the citizens of Santa Maria. And a special hello to Councilmember Soto and our new baby. It's great to see you. My name is Gary Hall. I'm a resident of Rancho Buena Vista Mobile Estates at 2135 North Railroad Avenue here in Santa Maria. I represent the North Santa Barbara County Manufactured Homeowners Team, or NSBT. Our overarching goal remains to provide protection to all Santa Maria mobile home residents, presently living in an unregulated rental market where the current model lease program has been ineffective in protecting homeowner equity and maintaining affordable mobile home housing. First, as I have done, and I will continue to thank Council Members Soto, Escobedo, and Cordero for passing the June 6, 2022 motion, which reads, and I quote, "To examine the model lease agreement, looking for ways to improve it and to look at alternatives." Second, now that I've had 3 weeks to review the video of the last City Council meeting, when Interim Assistant City Manager Wu presented his status update on the mobile home model lease program, I feel obligated to once again respond to the comments made at the January 16 meeting. Disappointment is the single best response I can offer. Disappointment to think that it has taken 19 months to accomplish so little. Disappointment to hear that some in the city think it has done what it can do, and we need to end this. Disappointment to learn that some in the city believe it's up to the parties to come to an agreement and that the city has facilitated to the best of its ability. Disappointment to witness the total disregard of our January 2023 original stated goals to adequately protect homeowners from large rent increases and maintain affordable housing while providing park owners with a fair return. Disappointment that there's no clear evidence that aside of education and outreach, no one has genuinely looked for ways to improve the model lease, nor have we looked at any alternative. In fact, the model lease has not even been touched. No alternative has been identified. We, the mobile home residents, are committed to continue good faith discussions and efforts to achieve the overarching goals stated earlier, and we are ready and willing to work with the city to achieve that goal with or without the park owners. Thank you.
Pritchard.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. I'm Esther Jensen from the La Maria Mobile Home Park on South Thornburg Street. I was disappointed last council meeting when one member suggested that we drop the discussion on rent stabilization. Our park supposedly signed on to the model lease, but we still have not heard anything about it. My Social Security this year went up $33, and my rent increase for each month went up $28. And it continues to think that everyone is just fine, and it just isn't that way. No, more and more of my neighbors continue to struggle. Let's find a solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Baird, followed by Rex Pritchard, followed by Charlie Martinez.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council members. Councilmember Soto, congratulations on your child. Chiefs, great to see you. I didn't actually attend tonight to speak or even have any part of this. I was here for the veterans stuff, but I'll tell you something that's always stands out to me as a veteran, as a member of our community, is when our community bands together over something very powerful. It's been a long time since we've seen the color purple, and I remember Lexi Brown, and when I see purple, it instantly grabs my attention, and then I see our firefighters in here, and I'm not up to date on anything. I can tell you that as a California native, I was born in this community. I lived a lot up north. I was a lineman. I traveled a lot throughout our state. And recently, myself and a couple vets from the Veterans Home at Camp Flores were traveling through San Francisco, and we were handing out some toiletry packs that came from our very own stand down here. And why that's relevant, I think, is because it was a perfect snapshot of what happens when a city is unable to fulfill what they need to do within that city and keep that city running. And San Francisco is a perfect model of what it's going to look like in the coming days. Not necessarily here, because I have a lot of faith in you. I always have. And but I do want to voice that whatever this is, I think there's a very important word on the back of their shirt, and it is together. And I hope that we can always maintain that togetherness of this community, because we have been through a lot. There will be more to come. And let us always stay together in this. So I'm with LaWanda Lyons Pruitt. I respect that woman, and I hope to be back with her to help however I can, sitting at the table. So thank you very much. All right.
Thank you. Rex Pritchard, followed by Charlie Martinez. Rex Pritchard, followed by Charlie Martinez, followed by Jerry May.
My name is Rex Pritchard. I am the 2nd District Vice President for California Professional Firefighters, representing 33,000 firefighters in California. It's my honor to be here. In my career, I deal with a lot of unions up and down the state. I'm president of Long Beach, deal with the city council there and the elected officials there. And what is happening here is abnormal. My fear is that you are getting bad advice from outside counsel. To sit there and go into contract negotiations, have 2 meetings and end it, I have never heard of. And it's not even unheard of, it's disrespectful. We should always be at the table trying to come to a deal. And it's your decision making. And I'm hoping and praying that in your closed session, you made a decision to come back to the table. These firefighters, the men and women of this fire department, are serving the community in a capacity on their worst day. People are calling 911 at their worst moment of their life. And their sole purpose is to make their community better, safer, whether it's wildfires, floods, cardiac arrests, traffic accidents. They're serving the community. This is the first time I've been here. You have a wonderful community. The people that we've met, the people that were here earlier, it's amazing. But I am shocked at the disrespect and the level to have 2 meetings and step away from the table. And they're not even asking to be paid at the level of their police counterparts. Their police counterparts make more, and I doubt the community knows that. They're not even asking to get to the level of their PD counterparts. They're just trying to get to the middle. Fighting for the middle and to not even come close, and for you to step away. Just remember, you are the decision makers. You might get advice from that outside counsel, but the decision comes down to you and the direction you give. And I pray in that closed session, you gave direction, and if you didn't, I would ask that a council member request another closed session, and that direction has changed, because walking away from the table is never an option and should never be an option. Everyone should be working to get a deal done. Thank you.
Charlie Martinez, followed by Jerry May, followed by Nicole Bryant.
Good evening. My name is Charlie Martinez. I'm the Vice President of the California Professional Firefighters, 5th District, representing federal firefighters up and down the state, to include Vandenberg Space Force Base and the fire department there, many of which live in this beautiful, beautiful city. And one of the things I learned in the military, as in life, you can have the best equipment, you can have the best resources known to man in the country. You cannot get anywhere without people working and operating that piece of equipment. And it goes right to your firefighters. Over 12,000 calls per year, averaging 33 a day, counting sleeping hours. These are what these paid professionals, dedicated individuals do every day, serving your community. When I'm as a father, My priority is my family. Keep them safe, provide the safest environment possible for them. You are elected officials. You're charged with the safety and the protection of your individuals that elect you and charge you with their safety. You have highly paid professional law enforcement officers who deserve every nickel. Your firefighters are the other side of that public safety, and they deserve equal respect to give them fair market value. They're not asking for the keys to the city. They're asking for slightly below what is average, equal, comparing apples to apples. So they're not even asking for that. And you have counsel that represents you. So when we talk about them, we're talking about you. You guys have negotiated maybe twice at the table and have been comms zero for 60 days. That is not good faith bargaining. You guys, we live in one of the greatest states, in my opinion. California, one of the greatest states. Santa Maria, one of the fastest growing cities in this country, in this state. 37% compared to 17% for the rest. You guys have been killing it. You guys owe that growth, the people, the communities, the businesses, the multi-million-dollar commercial structures, the best in public safety, to include firefighting, to include EMS, auto extrication, wildland, technical rescue. When I became a firefighter, it was just riding engines and maybe some medical. We've evolved over the decades. I know a lot of these firefighters for the last 5, 10 years. Some I've known over 10 years, some I've known 20 years. Those people that I've known for 20 years on this fire department that started off at Vandenberg have been here for a reason. They stayed for a reason because at one time, there was a time where they were valued and they chose to stay here in this great city, beautiful city. Isn't it ironic that now, in the last 10 years, you have almost half of your fire department leaving for other departments because they also have families. Their priority is their families, and they want to go where they're valued for when they work all those hours, waking up in the middle of the night, getting their butts kicked and their bodies beaten. And I think it's disrespectful as well when you have people, though your council representing you, telling these guys, we're out of here. So I just want to just finish up with, President Biden says one time, don't show me your value. Don't tell me your value. Show it to me in your budget. Because whatever's in your budget, that's what you truly value. If you don't want to talk about Biden politics, any financial planner, any financial advisor will say the same thing.
Thank you,
leave
Mr.
politics out.
Martinez.
Thank you so much.
Jerry May, followed by Nicole Bryant, followed by Gavin Harrington.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you guys, everyone, for being here. My name is Jerry May. I'm the Vice President of Local 230 San Jose Firefighters. I'm a native of the Central Coast. I'm a graduate from Allen Hancock College, and I grew up in this community. This is something that I'm going to tell you a story about today and why it's important. I drove 6 hours this morning to tell this story to you guys and to stand here with my brothers and sisters and let you know something that is very important. This investment that you make into your firefighters isn't just about the money. These are the coaches that coach your kids, your grandkids. These are the people who are the pillars of this community and this foundation. And they're asking you to go back to the table and sit there. I go up and down the state and I talk to all city councils like you, have these meetings for over 30,000 firefighters that we represent. And at the end of the day, when I went to Allen Hancock College, guess what? One of my dreams was to work here. Santa Maria is one of the most special places in the entire state to come and work. You have a community that loves and serves this community, and they're asking you for not even to get to the top of the pay structure, but to have a fair market contract, just like our brothers and sisters from SEIU are asking for. It's a problem that we have members who are essentially living on conditions that are equivalent to being unhoused. And that happens for a lot of union members across the state. But I'm gonna leave you with this. The investment is in the people, and that will reciprocate in the community by protecting your members, by making sure that they're compensated at that fair market. Go back to the table, get a deal done.
Nicole Bryant, followed by You didn't hear me, did you? Nicole Bryant, followed by Gavin Harrington, followed by Trinidad Ramos, followed by Daryl, nope, not yet, Christine Jacobs.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. Again, my name is Nicole Bryant. I'm the field representative for SCIU Local 620, who represents your hardworking general unit employees. As our members brought their personal stories of financial hardship and their need for better wages to you at the last City Council meeting, you again are going to have the privilege to meet some more of them this evening. But before that, I wanted to share with you some information about the actual cost of living in our community. KTLA, reporting on data provided by CoreLogic on January 21st, 2024, named Santa Maria the #2 city nationwide in a list of top 20 cities where home prices are expected to grow the most in 2024. They projected a 6.81% price growth forecast in 2024. The average rent for a two-bedroom dwelling within the city of Santa Maria, pulled from Zillow this week, is $2,550 per month. That is more than half of our members' starting monthly wages for 71 out of the 133 full-time job classifications we represent here at the city. That is not even considering any other cost of living. That is just rent. Home ownership is largely out of the question for our members on their city salaries. That American dream is virtually non-existent for your general unit employees. Employees working full-time for a public entity should not have to scrape by, falling deeper and deeper into debt. Our membership standing up for fair wages tonight are not coming with requests of greed. These are requests of need from your employees, your constituents, and our members. Fair wage increases impact the day-to-day decisions of whether to pay for prescription copays or groceries that week for our members. Our membership and your local 2020 firefighters need significant wage adjustments with these respective contracts. I will let my members and others share with you why for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Gavin Harrington, followed by Trinidad Ramos, followed by Christine Jacobs.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. My name is Gavin Harrington. I grew up in Santa Maria. I've been with the city for going on about 8 years now, and I started part-time in the Parks Department, maintaining and cleaning city-owned parks, and I worked myself up to water operator, where we maintain over 22,000 water meters, 3,600 fire hydrants, and over 10,000 water valves. Since I've been with the city, I was able to start a family with my beautiful wife of 10 years, and now we have 2 amazing sons. Since our youngest son was born and before inflation hit, I was able to support my family with my income alone. My wife was able to quit her job to be a stay-at-home mom for our sons. But since inflation rose and my wages didn't, it's becoming harder and harder to become a sole provider for my family on just the city's income alone. I have had to pick up any extra work I can to try to provide for my family. Since childcare is so expensive and we don't qualify for government assistance, we like other people, if my wife went back to work, her salary would be just enough to pay for childcare alone. My youngest son, who had a rough start in life and now struggles with developmental delays and requires special time and attention that my wife will not be able to provide him if she is forced back into the workforce. I have worked in multiple departments over the years, and in every department I've seen employees come and go due to the competitive wages outside the city, and other employees taking on second jobs just to make ends meet. I love my job and enjoy serving our community and taking care of it. Please help myself and our other dedicated employees, along with the fire department, by giving us fair wages due to the increase of cost and living and inflation. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council. I'm here to speak on behalf of Trinidad Ramos. He experienced a family emergency and is not able to be here today. My name is Trinidad Ramos, and I'm a member of SEIU Local 620 and a 31-year employee of the City of Santa Maria. All 31 years have been with Recreation and Parks. I've seen so many ups and downs throughout the years, but none as hard as the current climate we are in. I have seen coworkers come and go, but I've never wanted to leave my role with the city because I love what I do and the community I serve. My love for working for the city is becoming increasingly strained due to falling so far behind financially. All of us are unable to keep afloat with the cost of living. I am the proud father of 5 children, 3 of which are in college. So I feel the squeeze even more these days with tuition and books. Just the simple task of buying groceries and gas takes the biggest toll on my paycheck. The overall cost is putting not only myself and my family in a tight spot, but your entire workforce is suffering. How much longer do your loyal workers of the city have to struggle? Please do the right thing and help keep your city workers from drowning in debt. Thank you.
Christine Jacobs, followed by Daryl Scheck.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. My name is Christine Jacobs, and I am both a member of local SEIU 620 and an employee of the City of Santa Maria, also a resident here. I work in the Utilities Department as an outreach specialist, and I have been employed with the city for 10 years. First in limited service, part-time, and now full-time for the last 5 years. I absolutely love my job, and the work I do is meaningful. My job is not just about the work, but also the reward of helping others and the opportunity to make a safe, clean, and better place for residents of Santa Maria. I have a family of 4, and soon to be 5, with the upcoming birth of my grandson. We don't live extravagantly and save as much as we can afford. I drive a 20-year-old vehicle because affording anything else is not an option. We have our share of expenses, far too much to pay on our incomes alone, and cannot afford to have our adult children move out because they are pitching in to cover food, electricity, utilities, and phone bills. My children work in the restaurant industry and often bring home more than me. That industry is moving with the pace of inflation. The city increases rates for water and refuse services, and yet we do not see this increase in our wages. The city says they are increasing the cost for maintaining and operating and doing business. There is little trickle down into our wages for this increased cost. My tiny retirement savings have not yet recovered, and I'm close to the point of not being able to contribute to it anymore. That is a scary thought for my future. I am no stranger to hard work, but despite my efforts, I find myself in the relentless battle with the harsh reality of financial instability. I have a constant reminder of my ability to provide more, to break free from the grip of poverty. I do not want to give in and apply for assistance, but there is not much else to do. Despite the emptiness of my pockets, I am rich in the support of those who stand by my side. We are fueled by the belief that brighter days are on the horizon. As one of your city workers, we are asking you to do better for your struggling workforce. Thank you for your time.
And Daryl Scheck.
Good evening, Mayor Patino and City Council. Daryl Scheck, Executive Director for SEIU Local 620, representing many of your exceptional city employees. As you can see by the turnout of our members and their stories, and many of our community partners in labor, including Fire, Teamsters, UFCW, UDW, and more, we need your help. Our members, who are your employees, are truly behind the 8 ball. I'm also saddened to hear about the mobile homeowners having rent difficulties. In a story published only a couple weeks ago, the Santa Maria, Santa Barbara metro areas emerged as the Wall Street Journal's #1 emerging housing market for the quarter, with the most explosive growth in demand. Another headline from Mansion Global states it's one of America's most expensive cities and home buyers can't get enough. In another publication, Magnify Money, Santa Maria, Santa Barbara was named as the second least affordable housing market sandwiched between Salinas and Santa Cruz, Watsonville, and or just to the south of that. And all of them are agrarian-based metros based on the Central Coast and listed as 1, 2, and 3 as the least affordable in the entire country. Our members are getting squeezed out by foreign investors, remote workers, institutional investors, hedge funds, and wealthy retirees. This is a crisis. This is not just a Santa Barbara problem anymore. You may be saying to yourself, what can we do? Well, let's concentrate on what can be done. The council has the authority to give your bargaining team the authority to pay your employees a fair wage increase to catch up for the last couple years' inflation and at least give our members a fighting chance. You need labor to run this city. What are we all going to do when working people flee to the desert and other more affordable areas because they can't afford to live here? Who will handle our services then? Contracting out isn't viable when contract workers also have more affordable places to live. Help change the narrative before it's too late and the city loses a highly trained and experienced workforce to other states. As council, our members are counting on you to choose wisely, and that means granting your bargaining team additional authority to reach a fair contract. Thank you for hearing us all out here today.
Thank you. Mr. Posada, did you have any comments?
Madam Mayor, we have somebody who's raised their hand on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Hello, good evening. Can everyone hear me? Awesome. My name is Don DeFrancia. Unfortunately, I am not representing anyone other than myself tonight, but I hope that I am still heard. It's awesome that the code enforcement is here tonight because I'm not sure if this is a concern that they can handle, but as you've seen, or maybe some of you have seen, there are people that parking issues have risen in our city. The way that people are handling it, well, in my side of town, is that they put out their garbage cans so that they can, quote unquote, reserve their spot. This is because our ADUs are, well, I'm not going to say out of control, but there are a lot of ADUs in the city that's coming up without sufficient parking. Well, I do support ADUs, but let me tell you where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a home that is in a corner, and we only have 3 vehicles. I live with a couple of first responders that go to the hospital, work at the hospital, and they come home at wee hours in the evening, and most of the time they don't have any parking because our neighbors or a couple of who live a couple of blocks away from our house park their car or in their spot, which is in front of our house. The solution to that is either, or our solution to that is, or our neighborhood solution to that is putting out our garbage cans, getting parking cones, which I know is legal to do, but we do it anyway. It's been a common practice where we are to solve the issue. So I hope that this can be solved. My suggestions are, I don't know, curfew for non-residential parking. And I hope that your solution to this issue, or at least if you do come up with a solution, it's not going to be parking permits, more money out of the citizens. I hope that when we do give ADUs, people will still use the rule, the 2 adults per room rule that we had. or at least we have, I think. And yeah, that's pretty much the concern. Parking. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Posada, any comments?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council, and the public and our employees that are here. I just want to emphasize that the council has taken everybody's concerns seriously. We're trying to do the best that we can given the financial constraints that the city has. There's a lot of good dialogue going on. There is obviously some areas that we just can't bridge, and we'll continue to try to work on those as we progress through the negotiation process. So I want to thank our employees for coming out, and I do want them to know that we appreciate all their efforts on their job and the fact that they contribute to our community greatly, and we certainly want to recognize that and let them know that we realize that. So thank you all very much. On the last gentleman's comment, that has been an increasing effort across the city where it has come up through code and through the police department about addressing basically the overabundance of automobiles on our residential streets. So something that code and PD are working on.
Thank you. Okay, the next item is the consent calendar. Does anyone have items they wish to pull for discussion?
Madam Mayor, I have 2 items that
Oh, okay.
that we need to pull for a separate vote.
Okay. Ms. Soto, which?
And that's item 12A2, the approval of minutes, and 12B1.
Did you say B or D as in David?
B as in boy, it's the second reading to amend the SM Airport Business Park specific plan.
Okay.
And Madam Mayor, I would like to pull
12E.
12D1.
Okay. 12.
What was it?
12D1.
Did you say, yeah, 12B1? Okay. That is the adoption of a resolution. Is that the one?
Yes, so it's the minutes and
The
the
minutes.
second reading for the airport park.
Okay, so the minutes?
For a separate vote.
Okay. So, Madam Clerk, could you please read the title?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 12B1, that's the item you pulled, Councilmember Cordero?
Yes, 12D1.
Oh, D
D
is
is
in...
in
No.
David.
No, for Ms. Soto, it's 12B1. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A2 and B1, right?
Gotcha. You'd like me to call the roll for 12B1 first?
I wanted you just to read the, I just wanted you to read the subject because Ms. Soto wanted it pulled.
Understood.
Okay.
Item 12B1, conduct the second reading and adopt ordinance number 2024-01 to amend the Santa Maria Airport Business Park specific plan. The City Council will conduct the second reading to adopt ordinance number 2024-01, amending for zone consistency the Santa Maria Airport Business Park specific plan to add heavy retail business as a permitted land use in the plan development, light industrial public facilities airport, PDLIPFA zone district, and to modify the Foxenwood Lane roadway design.
Okay, Ms. Soto?
I just need a separate vote on that and on the minutes.
Oh, you just wanted it pulled for a separate vote. Okay.
Yes, the
Okay.
minutes and this item.
Okay. And then your first one was the minutes. Okay. So with the minutes, what did you have?
Madam Mayor?
Just
Yes.
4.7.
Yeah, I would like to, just to make it a little bit easier, if we can, I would like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar with the exception of 12A2, 12B1, and
Well,
12D1.
We had other things that people wanted pulled, so let me
Oh.
just go with this. So on the minutes, what?
He just did it correctly. He removed the 3 items that are separately pulled.
Unless there's a 4 item that.
If there's a second to the motion.
Do I hear a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll? Go ahead and restate your motion, Mr. Escobedo.
Absolutely. I would like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar with the exception of 12A2, which are the minutes, 12B1, which is to conduct the second reading of the adopt ordinance, and 12D1.
Oh, 12D1? And then Mr. Cordero, okay, you just wanted yours pulled to make a comment. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, you want to call the roll, though?
Would we like to amend the motion because Councilmember Cordero, you'd like to just make comment on 12D1? Yes. Okay, so that doesn't need a separate vote, just
No.
12A1 and 12B1.
12A.
12A2, excuse me, and 12B1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd like to amend the motion?
I do.
Okay.
Have a motion and a second.
Yes. Councilmember Escobedo?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Soto?
Aye.
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez?
Aye.
Councilmember Cordero?
Aye.
Mayor Patino?
Aye. Okay. So, Mr. Cordero, oh,
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. It's usually not this difficult, but we'll try to suffer through it.
okay.
With regard to this, it's the approval of the gift from the police council to nearly $50,000 to the police department. And I get questioned on this occasionally about the police council. There are people in the community that believe that the police council is an extended arm of the city government, and that's not true. It's a group of people that is a 503c organization. All the funds that are donated to the police department are raised by this group at functions that I certainly participate in. They do a great job all year long. As you know, Madam Mayor, Councilwoman Etta Waterfield was involved with it for many years, and she was very much responsible for being involved with raising a significant amount of money. And this gives our police department items that they can work with that make their job a lot safer, which makes our lives a lot safer. And obviously, there's no secret here that the police department is sensitive to me. I just felt the urge to point out that this group of people that work so hard at doing things for our community and our police department should be recognized. And it's not an arm of the city. It is indirectly because the funds all go back to the city. The chamber is heavily involved in it. Vicky, sitting out here, now Vicky is your daughter, right? I mean, excuse me, it's your wife, right? Yeah. But Vicky's sitting out here and she's with the chamber and all these other people that are here. I spoke with them, and it's just great that we have this organization that does all these things. And when you think about it, that's not the case in many communities, that they don't support their police, and we do. So I just wanted to make that comment. It's nothing negative at all. $50,000 is a lot. The Bearcat was purchased as a result of funds that were made or raised by the police council. And I personally want to thank them, and I think all the citizens in the community should thank them and support what the police council does for our community. And I can't thank all of you enough, everyone that's here doing that. And that's my comment, Madam Mayor. I have nothing negative, and with that, if you need a separate motion to approve that, then consider that the motion.
That wasn't pulled for a separate
Okay.
motion. Did you want to, but you didn't mention what was donated.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was donated was gas masks, and this particular donation.
Did you
And
bring
it's
one with you?
gas masks. It's close to $50,000 of a donation that goes to the police department that does not come out of the general budget for the city. It's to be commended for any community, not just Santa Maria.
Yes. Go ahead.
Consideration of dismissing block grants advisory committee.
Okay, but that wasn't on this comment.
No.
That's finished. Okay.
Yeah.
On what item?
It doesn't have, it's in the ordinances and resolutions, 12A1, there's a separate consideration of dismissing block grants advisory committee member, Audrey Bustamantes. That needs to be corrected, that I did not appoint her. She was appointed by previous council member Etta Waterfield. And I did want to put on the record that there will be an opening, and I hope people who are interested in serving the community do apply to be on the CDBG board. It's a great service to the city, and I just want to make sure that people are aware there's an opening, and I'd like to urge the public to file an application to serve on that committee. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to 12B1. Ms. Soto.
I just need a separate vote on that.
Did you want to make the motion?
She can't make the motion, Madam Mayor, because she was not present for either the minutes or for the item. That's why she needs a separate vote.
Oh, okay.
So she'll need to abstain, which needs someone else to make the motion
Okay.
for 12A1 and
Okay.
12B1.
A1 and B1, we have to make motions on, and.
A2, excuse me, A2 and B1.
A2
Just
and
needs a
B1.
motion for approval.
Okay.
I move that we approve 12A2 and 12B1.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, 12A and 12B1. There's been a motion and a second. Could you call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Escobedo.
Aye.
Councilmember Cordero.
Aye.
Mayor Patino.
Aye. Okay.
So we get an abstention? Ms. Soto?
I abstain.
Oh, okay. Then that's it now?
I think we need a break.
Okay. Can I ask on 12E, it's the adoption of the resolution approving a 5-year lease extension. Can we go back and see if they'll do like a 10 or a 20, or was this an absolute?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Interim Rec and Parks Director Angela Oslin handled the negotiation contract signing with the airport district. Right now, that's what the airport district proposed. We could go back if that's council's desire to have us look at a longer term agreement. I think that's could help with the comments that were made by the Pioneer Association.
Ms. Soto, you sit on that. What do you think?
I think that it is worth us having a conversation with the airport board, airport district about extending the lease. But at the moment, from my understanding, the conversations that we've had leading up to now, this is the best that we were able to come to terms with.
Okay.
That's the honest truth.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we've covered the consent items. Okay, good. The next item will be a report by Interim City Manager, Mr. Posada.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. So at your next meeting on February 20th, we will again have a closed session on labor and recruitments. We'll be looking at awarding contracts on the consent calendar for the Veterans Memorial Project Phase 2, which is the park development, awarding a contract for citywide pedestrian safety, those coming from Public Works. The annual fire department report will be presented, as well as the fire master plan update. That will be on a regular business item. We'll have the second quarter financial report presented by the finance department. And there'll be some updates to the ADU ordinance, time extensions and permit revocations. That will take us into the February 20th meeting.
Okay. Let me ask you, I know that, and I didn't ask you this, but all the preparation we did, that our employees did for the storm that was coming, and they were working those days that it was storming, and I noticed just driving around town, there was caution tape or there were cones up, and then there were city trucks coming along and picking up trees. I saw the complete top of a palm tree on the ground. I mean, how many fronds is that? But all of the work that our city's workers did, and everything flowed the way it was supposed to flow. And Jim May Park was fine, and I went over to Blosser Basin, and I thought it would be over the top and running across the road, but it wasn't. So I thank you to all the employees from the city, because they did a great job.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think the Utilities Department, Rec and Parks, Public Works, all were out. I know that there was a lot of cleanup on Sunday, regardless of the wind and the rain that were coming down. The staff were out there, doing their jobs, keeping the city safe. We did have some minor flooding around the city, the typical locations on Broadway, over on Sonia and Thornburg. There were some minor flooding in that area. But for the most part, the city fared well. I'll defer to any of the department directors if they want to make a comment about it. But I think we did a good job, all in all.
Well, I mean, they did a fantastic job, because it's almost like nothing happened. And
yeah. The calls,
and it did.
I do want to recognize, the police dispatchers who were getting all the calls for all the situations that were coming in. Commend them for the job that they did. Fire responded to some of the locations where Public Works either couldn't get to first, and it was a good team response.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we'll go on to oral reports from the council. Mr. Cordero, can we start with you?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Madam Mayor. On the 17th, I did the Ben Hayes Show in Councilwoman Gloria Soto's absence. And it was great to be back there with Ben for a short time. On the 17th, I also attended the Fire Appreciation Dinner at the Elks. On the 18th, there was a United Way board meeting. You'll all be pleased to know that the United Way is no longer stationed across from on Enos, across from the McDonald's. It's now up off of Presker Lane, across from the hotels up there. It's on the east side of Broadway. On the 23rd, I attended the Cottonwood Winery ribbon cutting, which was a great event put on by the Chamber. On the 25th, I was at the CCWA board meeting in Buellton for the water. On the 25th, this was really unique. I attended the Acorn Paper Company out at 2727 Skyway Drive. And there wasn't a lot of people that showed up, but it gave a different way of relating to some of these people that were there. It was very intimate, if you will, with the staff that was there. And it was interesting to find out that you would know the families. Madam Mayor, it was the Ventura family. It was Johnny's grandson. And it was just it was a very positive meeting that we had with the CEO. And we had our chamber there that was there. I thought it was great. I hope that you did. I don't want to be saying anything out of line here. And then on the, I attended the chamber's update on the state of the education here in Santa Maria, at the Santa Maria Inn. That was also very interesting. All of the superintendents from up in this area for the school districts were there. A very, I thought, positive rendition of what they had to report for us. And Susan Salcido was there.
Education. And on February 2nd, I was invited as a guest speaker for the Leadership Academy and during their tour at the City Hall. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Aguilera Hernandez?
I attended the fire appreciation at the Elks and the Chamber's update on the state of education.
Thank you. On January 17th, I was down in Buellton for the Project Opioid meeting, and that's a meeting in the whole county that Sheriff Brown has put together so we can combat opioid issues in our communities. I attended the 46th Annual Firefighters Awards dinner that evening. On the January 18th, I attended SBCAG in the morning and APCD in the afternoon. January 19th, I did the Rick Blameyer Show in the morning. I attended the Rotary Human Trafficking Awareness Forum, and 3 of the Rotary clubs here, and I think the Napomo Rotary Club put this together. And then in the afternoon, went over to Sisters Residence, which is the old Sisters Hospital. They did a groundbreaking, because they are going to be building some new residence for people that come in, some of the sisters that are there, and people that are released from the hospital. And on the 22nd, Larry Lavanino, I attended the post office renaming press conference, which was held right here. I told him that I will forward all the calls I get to him when people complain about the post office after they name it after him. They do call me. They do call me. January 23rd, we had a meeting on encampment response efforts. And January 24th to 26th, I attended the Mayor's Council Members Academy. On the 31st, did the Space Activation and Assumption of Command ceremony at Vandenberg with our interim city manager, Alex Posada. We almost didn't make it because we kept going around in circles. And it was a guest speaker at Blue Campaign. They're starting that campaign at Allen Hancock College on trafficking, and that was their inaugural meeting. February 1st, I attended a LAFCO meeting, and February 3rd, Russ Weed Celebration of Life, a person, a retired veteran, and who did a lot in our community. Any other comments? If not, this meeting. Oh, see, you're sitting right in front of me. It's not like out of sight, out of mind. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Ms. Soto.
The only reportable item that I have is that I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl on Thursday, January 18th. Yatzil Catalina Gaona Soto.
Congratulations, dear. Enjoy. This meeting is adjourned.